Welcome to the NIOS studio. Today we are going to discuss the first lesson of English. Lesson name is Snake Bite. This story has been taken from a book called Life with Grandfather, written by a famous writer, Shankar Pillai. Poisonous insects and reptiles. You must be knowing the reptiles. What does reptile means? Reptiles are those animals who crawl on earth or any surface, and while crawling or while walking, most of their body touches the surface. Example of reptiles is snake, lizard, and so many insects you can think. Before we read the story, try to answer a few questions. Are all snakes poisonous? Why do animals bite? Why are there no specialist doctors in a village? How does illiteracy and ignorance become a bane? What happens when you take decision in panic? Now let's understand the summary of the story. This is a fascinating story about an orphan boy, Raja, who was brought up in Kerala home by his grandparents. The story is told in first person. Raja was very naughty. He was fond of playing with all sorts of insects and animals. One day, he was stung by a bee. He cried in pain and went to his grandmother for help. Because of the morning episode, she concluded that it was a snake bite. She called out for the grandfather. The grandfather too panicked. Without wasting any time, he rushed him to a snake doctor. Now read the story to find out other interesting details. Let's meet Raja in the story. Raja was a young boy. He lived with his grandparents in a village. Raja was very naughty. He loved playing with all kinds of insects and animals. His grandparents were very concerned about his safety. Raja sights a snake. One day, Raja saw a snake hiding in the compound of his house. Raja was excited. The snake retreats. When the snake saw Raja standing in front of him, it quickly slid away and hid in a coconut shell. Now there was an idea in Raja's mind about fun. Raja had an idea. He wanted to have some fun. What was his idea? He covered the coconut shell with a stone and walked up to his grandmother. "Look, grandmother, I have caught a snake." Grandmother's reaction. Grandmother was terrified. She started screaming for help. On hearing her cries for help, the grandfather came running. What do you think grandfather did when he came to know that Raja was carrying a snake in the shell? Well, he took it from Raja and threw it away. Now what did the snake do? Snake crawled away and hid behind some bushes. Also, grandfather warned Raja not to go near a snake as it could be dangerous. Do you think a naughty boy like Raja could be deterred by such warnings? Guess what Raja did next. Raja was a naughty boy, as we all know. He had adventurous mind and was always plotting something mischievous. In the evening, he tried to catch a bee. Raja forgot that animals and insects do attack in self-defense. The bee stung Raja on his finger. Raja cried out in pain. Again, Raja ran to the grandmother to tell her that he had been bitten by a bee. He wanted her to do something to relieve him of the pain. The grandmother had not forgotten the morning incident. Now, without listening to Raja's story, she concluded that Raja must have been bitten by a snake. She again called for Raja's grandfather. The moment grandfather saw the blue mark on Raja's finger, he too concluded that Raja was bitten by a snake. Now, without any further ado, grandfather took Raja in his arms and dashed through paddy fields as fast as his legs could carry him. Why do you think he raced like that? What did grandfather conclude? Why did he run at once without wasting time? Where do you think he took Raja? If you were Raja, what would your reaction be at this moment? Grandfather stopped in front of a house and shouted for the man who lived there. An old grey-haired man came out. What do you think this man was? And what do you think he did? The man was supposed to be a snake doctor who knew how to cure snake bites. He took them inside, made Raja sit in his grandfather's lap, looked at his finger, took some water in a brass vessel, and started reciting some mantras. By this time, Raja's pain had also subsided on its own. Raja was feeling funny. He wanted to clarify the misconception but couldn't. Can you think why? Because his grandfather held him tight and did not allow him to talk. Meanwhile, news of snake bite had spread all over the neighborhood. Raja's grandmother, along with some neighbors too, arrived at the scene. All they looked sad and watched the doctor's proceedings in silence. Why were they all so sad? Meanwhile, Raja's pain had completely subsided, but he had to wait till the entire ritual of curing the snake bite was over. The snake doctor got up, washed Raja's finger, and made him drink some water. He then turned to the grandparents and said, "Thank God you brought Raja in time. He is out of danger now. It was indeed a poisonous snake that bit him." What do you think? What was the snake doctor trying to do? Grandfather, grandmother, and all others thanked the snake doctor for saving Raja's life. They all then returned greatly satisfied. After reaching home, the grandfather sent the snake doctors some gifts. Why do you think grandfather sent him gifts? Just imagine that Raja told his grandparents the truth after returning home. How would they have reacted after hearing the truth? And what further warning would the grandfather give to Raja? Illiteracy brings ignorance, blind faith, and superstition. And innocence can be the most exciting thing in the world. Panic and haste only makes waste. In this story, a few concerns and issues which must be discussed are: illiteracy and ignorance can prove to be a bane. The cunning and the clever can victimize innocent people and make a fool of them. Some backward areas where people are still not educated, the melody of blind belief and superstitions still reign supreme. Lack of facilities and poor connectivity of rural areas becomes a breeding ground for quacks. I hope you must have understood and enjoyed the story. You must read the story from your book too. Prepare well for exam. Thank you so much.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो। मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, स्वयं बने, हम
Dear learners, welcome to our NIOS studio. Today, we will discuss about the basic words used for household articles. We will sign these words one by one. House, room, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, roof, floor, balcony, terrace, first floor, things, bed, mat, pillow, bed sheet, table, drawer, chair, sofa, fan, light, tube light, bulb, candle, cupboard, mirror, comb, clock, window, curtain, door, gate, key, lock, newspaper, photograph, torch, umbrella, stove, gas stove, matchbox, vessel, plate, cup, bowl, pan, spoon, knife, refrigerator, mixer, bottle, bucket, mug, towel, toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet, soap, wash basin. For listening to us. Hope it's useful for you. For any kind of learning support, you can contact us. Our helpline number is 1800 180 9393. For more information, log on to www.nios.ac.in. Thanks once again.
Dear learners, we learn educational terms in sign language version one by one. Ask, certificate, classroom, college, copy, discuss, education, examination, experiment, explain, information, knowledge, laboratory, learn, library, memorize, percentage, principal, read, reply, record, school, student, result, study, teacher, understand, uniform, university. Thank you learners for watching us.